Salam and welcome back everybody to our podcast, Unapologetic, the third narrative.
Our authentic and original initiative in light of the war in Israel and Gaza.
A platform where we will share our identities, views, and experience from the ground. So welcome back everybody. Kifak Ibrahim?
Amira, how are you today?
Good, alhamdulillah.
It feels like, like in the past few recordings, every time we're saying, especially today, there's a rise in escalation.
News update.
It seems like, it's a reoccurring theme recently. And this time around, another day when we're recording and we have escalations. How do you feel this morning, today?
Well, I said the last time that it's like this numbness. But there's a lot of fear. What happened today, today's the 25th of August, and we woke up to an attack from Hezbollah. And Israel went into a 24 or 48 hour emergency period.
It's at the moment is 48 hours. And the issue is that, even before the Hezbollah attack, there was an Israeli attack that Israel's saying it's a preemptive attack, and then Hezbollah attacked. So the whole morning has been with a lot of sirens, rockets, over 400 rockets have been sent here. There's attacks in the depth of Lebanon. So today's a tense day. Mm-hmm. It's a very tense day here. Nobody knows where the development is gonna, where the escalation is gonna go. And the question is, can you continue to raise escalations higher without falling into the trap of a full-scale war? I mean, I think this is the balance that both Hezbollah and Israel are trying to maintain, and it's a dangerous one. It's a slippery slope. I'm concerned, because sometimes both sides don't want to get into war, but they will, because it's getting so bad. How about you? How's the feeling today? Hearing the news, coming here now to record after, hearing so many.
Well, I've been in the West Bank for back and forth from to the West Bank for like 3 weeks now. And it's like in your own bubble in one specific topic, settler violence, settler land theft, and fighting that fight. And I forgot, honestly, like I was just sucked into that bubble. And it was relatively speaking, it was a nice distraction of what's going on.
The irony.
You have one problem, one goal, get the land back. And that's it. And then I come back, and then this reality, and I feel like it's a reality check of how fucked up things are. But yeah, we continue. Like, there are things that are out of our control. Whatever happens, happens. I hope that there's not going to be a full-out war. I do have a little bit of fear, the same way that you expressed it. But I'm happy that we're gathered today with a guest. We're not alone.
I guess was willing to come today.
Yes.
With all the challenges that we're facing outside.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to introduce her right now. So we have Dr. Miriam, who everything that I'm going to say is that we met during a conference in Yafa, where you were talking about, the conference was called Jumpstarting Hope in Gaza. Where it was some sort of like attention, raising awareness, funding for specific humanitarian aid organizations that were trying to help Gaza. And it was a joint Palestinian and Israeli thing. And this lovely, brilliant woman spoke so eloquently about the environmental crisis and the humanitarian crisis happening in Gaza. And when I saw her, the question in my mind of, where are the Palestinians that are pro-peace? Where are the Palestinians? It's just Ibrahim and Amira. It's just Ibrahim and Amira. So I had to meet you. I had to talk to you. And I felt like we had to have you to talk about this very important topic. But obviously, as you all know, first we're going to get introduced to who is Miriam, who is Doctora Miriam, and then we'll jump into that very important topic. So Khabrina, tell us, how are you? كيف حالك?
First, thank you for this amazing introduction. And so going back to the moment like that I'm here specifically in these hard times, it's very important for me to say that, and specifically in these times, like showing up is the thing, even though it's hard, but finding places where you can have some resources like to keep coming up and keep showing up, because here where it's like the resilience and the long breath is like tested, and luckily I have a lot of support that is helping me, and meeting you also in this event was for me like, wow, like, yes, I'm not alone, and I knew it deep in my heart, but it just takes time until we meet each other. So it was lovely to see you on the stage, and yeah, to be like to speak to you after. Yeah,
I feel
so
it's a mutual feeling every time that somebody from our field meets somebody else who's doing, similar work. Like, oh, I'm not doing this by myself.
yeah,
And, I'm sure when you see Amira, it's like, oh, there's another woman who's doing it also.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
there's that connection as well.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about, yourself, to us, our audience, to know who is Miriam, where you come from, where were you raised. I mean, we would like to know more about you.
So my name is Miriam Abd El Hay. I come from Tira. I was born there. My mom is Polish/German, so I have this European side in me. Growing up in two different cultures has had an effect on me. I will talk maybe about it later. But
For sure. It's an unusual mix,
Yes.
Arab and Polish-German.
Yes. And so, and a Palestinian side from my dad's side. I grew up there. I studied in Germany dentistry, and then I came back. I worked in dentistry for a few years, and then suddenly the stars aligned, and something shifted in me, understanding that there is something deeper inside of me that wants to be expressed, that has questions, that is curious, that wants to push boundaries and ask questions, and I listened to this voice. Like, it always was inside of me, my life, but it was not in front, never. Also not supported from the surrounding, because it's not something like people are used to do. So there is a lot of fear around it. Like, what is it? Why do I have this question? Should I listen? Should I? Yeah. And I just got life just gave me this energy to pursue. And this is where I went to the Arava. I decided just one day to quit my job and to go to the Arava, because I know they talk about things that I'm very interested in, which is like environment, politics, the connection between them, and there people are living together, Palestinians, Israelis, and internationals, like really living together, which is a thing that I believe that it's not
can you
only
define
me.
what the Arava is? What was your experience? Because we've never mentioned it before on
Yes.
this
I mean,
platform.
honestly, even before, getting to that moment where the stars aligned and you going to Arafat, I still
Yes.
want to know more about your experience, living in Tira
In
as
Tira.
a half Polish German, that upbringing. For me, it's like I still there's 1,000 questions about that topic
Yeah.
that I would want to know even before we get into
Yes.
the deep, serious stuff,
We can go there.
if that's okay.
Yes, totally. So growing up in like a mix, like I grew up speaking German from a first actually language and then Arabic, and having the family in Germany and seeing different things from a very young age, like things that somehow like don't fit together and are like kind of opposite to each other. So this raised like question in my head from a very, very young age.
Like what?
Like, for example, I remember this very vividly because it was like a big moment. In second grade, we learn religion in school. And unfortunately, the focus in religion classes is always like, this is the school that I went to, is always about the suffering, like about if you are not a good human, then there is suffering in the afterlife. And it's all focused on this. Yani, that's why you need to follow this religion, because you don't want to go to hell. So this is the reason. It's like based on fear. Like the motivation is not because you want to be a good person. It's just you are afraid
To avoid to be in bed.
Exactly. So, And then there was an emphasis that because you are a Muslim, you have a green card, kind of, you are on a good side, you're gonna go to heaven. You're like, yes, you need to work for it, but you're already like better because you were born Muslim. And for me, like from the second grade, I went home and I went to my mom crying, saying, I have family that are not born Muslim and they didn't choose that. They just were born different. What does it mean? Does it mean they're going to hell automatically just because they didn't choose to be born like a very young age immediately? Like, no, it doesn't make sense, because I see how beautiful and like amazing people there are, that I also started to compare, like people that I don't see that behaving or like doing very good things in their lives. And then with my grandma and my grandpa, which like taught me actually how to love and like to listen to my heart and love, which I learned from this side. And also the environmental, like all of this loving relationship came from there, and they gonna go to hell. So this is where I started to ask questions. And then and then my mom told me, no, you listen to your heart, like it's where you get your answers from. So, and then it kept with me, and I understood that, okay, probably in this book there are many things that are like good, but people somehow don't understand it, and they say something that they didn't really know what it is. Like I knew that it's not about the book and what's written in there. It's about the people, how they interpreted it, and like what they teach and say about it.
Well, I can relate to that so much. I went to a German international school, and it was like majority Muslim, but it was like a Christian school. There were nuns, there was a church, like it was a Christian school, and we did have religion class. And I remember opening the book, and I was I'm very close to my religion. Like I was like had a very special relationship. And then the Islamic teacher sits down, and she was like, okay, she closes the door. And we're at this chapter in the book where it says about like what you were talking about heaven and hell, and who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. And there was like kind of this contradiction, because the explanation of the religion is human. And the book is supposed to be the word of God. So the interpretation is not. So what the interpretation is that every non-Muslim soul isn't going to go to heaven, what you're saying. And in my head, I was like, there's no way. There's no way. My religion, my God is going to make my friends that I study with every single day go to hell. What did they do? And at the same time, I would remember these stories of a Christian woman who took care of a cat. My mom would tell me this story, that took care of a cat, and God promised her heaven. And I would be like, there's no way. There's no way. And my mom would tell me the same thing. Istafti qalbik. Listen to your heart. Your heart will tell you what's right and what's wrong. So
this have been like my guideline always, like to listen to the heart. And nowadays I have a different relationship with the religion. Like I discovered the spirituality part of like the books and everything. But I'm very glad that until I got to this point, I was like listening to my heart and not like what people like try to teach and say. So this is like a simple example. Like it's just I remember the crying and the moment where I understood, and no, this I'm not gonna listen to this. So it started from a young age, just to have a question mark around things always. So this muscle was trained from a young age, just to have a question mark, not taking everything literally, and just like, this is how it is. Always like a little bit of, let me see, is it true or not? For me, is it true for me? Like it's, so.
And did you feel you were treated a bit differently or anything like that? Growing up in Tira from other students?
Of course.
How we treated, if I can ask?
Like luckily, like I had a bonus because like I'm a woman, and then they look at the outside and it's okay, like you look good. And
pretty white girl.
I was gonna say she's blonde. She's blonde. Our society have very Western white, like beauty standards.
What you don't have, kind of a dynamic.
Yeah, it protected me, but it did not protect my brother, for example.
Oh, wow.
like it's personal to him, so I
that's
don't want to
true.
get to there, but it's like different. Yes, I had some hardship, like people will tell me like yeah, you eat pig and you this, and just because my mom is Christian, even though she changed her religion for us, because she was like, it's in the heart, it doesn't matter what's on the paper, like she sees all the religion as one. So but she did it just for the like the society and for the people, just to not raise more things, because she does,
Challenges.
yeah, challenges. But still, like they will tell us like kuffar, or like
wow.
yeah, like eating pigs and stuff. But still, I had like really like a bonus in being a pretty girl in the eyes of these people. And so it was easier, like really easier than, for example, my brother, who you don't care about the looks about the guy, so they just like yeah, had more like mobbing and
More challenges, let's say.
challenges.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I don't know. There's something between Palestinians and Germans. I
Mm.
can't put my hand around it.
What
It's
do you
like
mean?
I have two friends who went to Germany, studied both studied medicine. One became a dentist, one became a doctor. Both stayed in Germany, married German women, have German children. There and plenty more. Like I have also a second cousin who moved and doesn't want to come back. It's like there's some people who go to Germany and
But you can
especially
say that about
Palestinians.
all around the
I'm
world.
not sure. Like
Yeah.
there's something about Germany specifically. Like it's more than any other country that I know people that have like gone specifically to Germany more than any other place and not come back.
Mm.
Like people go to Eastern Europe to a lot of places to study. They don't stay in Moldova, Romania,
It
you
was the
name it.
US,
Even
the
US.
UK. People go and they don't come back.
It's also harder to stay in
Plus,
those
there are
countries,
also
I think.
there's
Visas
also
and
maybe that's the reason, but there's also a lot of opportunities here that lead you to Germany. Like a lot of German schools, like the one that I went to, and it's not the only one here. It's not the only one in Jerusalem. It's not the only one in the West Bank. Like there's a ton of scholarships also. So the opportunities are there. The same for the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of opportunities. UK,
I don't hear as many people who like marry Americans or British
there
as
are.
much as
There are.
for some reason, as much as Germans. It's not.
There
I
was
don't
a
know what to put my
there was
my
a
finger
wave
around it.
of like people going to study in the 80s to Germany.
I think it was
Like it's
easy.
like I don't know if it's easy. Like if
Or
you
easier.
listen to my father's stories, like going to Germany with $400 and just figuring it out and coming back after 7 years, like studied and everything, and like probably just having few phone calls here and there with the parents, and like how it was not easy. But there was this idea of like, you have good education there, you have good social system there, you will get support somehow. Like my father was supported from the church, they was supported here, and then if someone goes, people follow, because I know a person there somewhere, so I can
Who did
sleep at
it?
his
And
place.
yeah,
And this is how he moved. Like he moved, I know here a guy who is like from Nablus, and I can sleep at his. And even though this like the room is very small, but we got you, because they got each other outside. And yeah, this is how. And my mom is actually Polish and not German, but she came from a part in Poland that was occupied by Germany.
okay.
So they have a German influence, but still she moved. Like my grandparents moved to Germany when she was 20 years old, and then she studied with my dad. And this is how they met each other in studies. And then they came here. And by the way, my dad was like not sure, he wanted to stay. And actually my mom decided that they will come, because she saw that he is just more confident, more like feels himself more when he is around his people and his family. And my mom really cared about him like feeling this way. And she, I think also Germany was not her homeland anyways, so she said like, anyways, like I'm not going back to Poland, so let's try it here. So this is how they came here. And she had also a lot of love from my family, specifically from my father's parents, like that, like very welcoming, like this loving open heart that like Palestinians have. Like this is my mom's experience, that is like really open and really cherished her. And yeah, but it like for us children, it had more challenges than for her. Yeah.
And can you talk to us about that moment? You're a doctor, you become a dentist, you come back here, right? And you work here in the dental, in an office, like you were a dentist for a while, and then what changed?
Listen,
what's the moment of the stars aligning?
Yeah, so it happened a little bit before, like it was gradually, but then the decision came like, halas, like now I'm gonna go. But it started actually with my brother preparing the way for me, and this is how I see it.
Is he older than you?
He's older than me, 3 years older. And I remember him going to, like, from a very young age, deciding that he wants to explore the world and, like, he wants to do things differently, and, like, how life is in Tira is not exactly how he wants to live. So he already got out. And I remember he had many friends coming over to our place, and I was sitting there and looking at them, and they talking about things, and I'm like, wow. Like they talk about deep things, about the like reality.
And when you say friends, do you mean like other Palestinians from around, or were they Jewish friends?
Jewish friends.
Okay.
Yes. Later, I also like knew his Palestinian friends, but in the beginning, this is who I met. Like Jewish friends who came home and like to our house, we cooked together and we ate together, and I listened to what they are talking about, and I'm like, wow, like really, this is what is going on in their heads, and like they care about what they feel and what they're surrounding, and like, and I was like, wow,
guys can have deep conversations too.
Yeah.
Spiritual beings.
Yeah. And I was just like, wow, yani, I didn't hear that anywhere else, like in Tira, like in the bubble I was living in, and I was very inspired, but still I was not ready like to join or to join the conversation or ask him what he is exactly doing. And but he always was there, like showing me he's going to places, to Midburn, for example. I don't know if you know this space. Yes, so going there and like meeting people and getting out of his comfort zone, and like first Palestinian Midburn and stuff like this. And he was like very proudly there and meeting amazing people. And then he told me, when you're ready, we will go together. And I knew that one day I will go, but I didn't know when and stuff. And I was also before, I don't know if I want to go there, but I was like engaged in Tira with a guy, and I understood
it's getting
that
interesting.
exactly, the personal stuff.
Share closer, guys.
Yeah, and then I understood that it's not the life I want to live. I understood, and okay, it's getting serious. We're talking about like wedding and marriage, and it's not where I want to live. Like this to be my reality. I have many different things inside of me that I want to explore, and I'm just not gonna continue to ignore and just follow whatever people are doing around me and talking about the same things. And I was like, no. So there is also like I ended the relationship, and I understood, and okay, now I'm gonna listen to this voice. And when I did that, my brother was like, yeah, actually, in Midburn, we want to do the first Palestinian camp. It's a space that I really adore, and it changed. It became more mainstream. People are very disconnected from reality. Gaza is not so far away from us, and still no one is mentioning anything that's happening there. Like there was specific festival where the days when the festival was, there was bombing in Gaza. And my brother and his friends, they were like shocked that no one talked about it. No one, like, they just continued with the festival, even though it has the festival itself has many things that he works on, like how you like question many things in the systems, but it's super disconnected from reality. So they said, okay, it's working on good things, but also like it needs more. And so they were cooking this idea of like, we need more awareness here, political awareness. Like, okay, we want to have fun, but still like this, I can't put it aside and dance. And when I was ready, he was like, yeah, we are doing a camp, a Palestinian camp in Midbar. Want to join? I was like, yeah, I want to join. I didn't know what I'm going to do, I just was like, yeah, I'm going with you there. Like, I trust you, I'm going with you. And so we started like 3 months to prepare for it. And we understood we're going to have content. It's not only like we are being there. We want to say something, because this is amazing, because the space is allowing like radical expression. So you're just like, okay, we use whatever the space is giving us and we explore. Like, we didn't have like exactly an idea what, but it's like, let's dream. The space is like allowing us to dream. It's for a week and then it's burned. That is like the burning experience. Like, it's about having a alternative life for a week, and then you burn everything and let go. And then what is kept with you is like the feelings, the experiences that you had. And so, so we prepared and we understood, and okay, Palestinians, we are there. What we want to say. We have Palestinians from the West Bank who are joining. They are going through checkpoints before they're coming to this place. So we're going to do the gate of the camp a checkpoint. So we did like how it looks from the outside. It looks like a checkpoint, but with some lights because it's midburn, and but with a towel and with everything. So people who are gonna pass, they're gonna stop for a second and ask questions like, why does it look like this? And then people were very curious, which was also amazing, that they came to the camp and asked, and they understood, and wow, you people really Palestinians, and you have fun, you're cool, and you talk to us. And so it really like was a very expanding, like mind expanding experience. And also for us just to be there and to understand we exist and we have a space here was also very like significant feeling. And we had many more, like we had a march of no return. That's the theme of the whole camp, not the camp, the Midburn Festival was returning home. And we said, okay, that doesn't resonate with us as Palestinians. Like, there's no, like, a lot of people can't go home. Like, it doesn't fit with us. So let's do a march. We did a silent march where we Palestinian wearing traditional clothes, and our Jewish friends in solidarity were wearing black. And then we walked through the playa, like the whole village. And immediately it just happened naturally that the Palestinians were inside and the Jewish were around us, just like to protect us. Nothing happened, but just this feeling that we got you and we are walking together this path.
I love that.
It was like really like I didn't know that I'm getting goosebumps, like how deep it was.
And what year are we talking about? Because it's a long time ago.
2021.
It's recent.
2021, and we walked there, and it not only for sure it had a ripple effect in the people who saw us, but also in us it changed a lot. And after this midburn, we were like, okay, what's next? What we gonna do next? Which things we want to challenge? What we want to do? And then like a series of like events and gatherings happened that we still do till today. And every time it's like when it finished, we have this space of like to listen. Okay, what changed in me? What still I need to work on? Like, what's the people around me, where they are, what they need, and like this is how slowly things are created. And I'm very grateful for this network of people. I don't know if I call it community network because it's hard to define it, but it's the people who are seeking to go deeper and ask questions and actually dream and do something different. Like they really want to experience or feel something different, knowing that it's possible, knowing that it's inside. It's possible for humans to be in the same space and see each other. Like I see you, you see me. So and then challenge all the noise around it. Like it is there for a reason, and it's like.
How was the reaction of the people around you? Like, this wasn't like, I assume not all of the activities were in the middle of nowhere. So how was the reaction if people heard that it was happening or something?
We had mixed responses. Like we have people who like shut down a place where we were meeting all the time because they were like scared of radical left activities. like with Palestinians, radical left, and we were just meeting and talking and as I said, doing things that we want to explore, like putting up a wall and like hitting it and like imagining that the wall is gonna fall. Like we want to experience it as like manifested, so it's gonna happen. So we need first to feel how it feels when the wall is going down. Like this is like examples of stuff that we did. So we have this, people saying like, no, concerned neighbors, that they are concerned about our activities, and then like shutting down places.
But it's too radical.
Too radical, yes. Even though they didn't see any of it. It's just the idea, like we had the idea to open it so people will come and not be so suspicious, just to feel it themselves and see. We had this plan already. But before we got to there, they didn't know. They just felt that like I heard Palestinians and Israelis are meeting together, so this already created
sparked
this
concern.
Exactly. But also we had many places where we did the events like for a few days, where we like that they were very supportive. They were like, yes, we support this and do it again here, and the third time. Like we have few places that are really like are kind of part of the plan or a part of the network, and they're really supportive. But that's why we are not calling, or like we don't say it out loud in like social media and everywhere, because we know how sensitive it is. Just the people who are vibrating on the same frequency, and that are like from mouth to ear kind of thing, that we will find the people, and they have places to host us and like be a container for this journey together. But it's like more slow and more like from one to one, and it's like more sensitive, because we know how dangerous it could be, specifically in these times where there's a lot of like extremes, and every little thing, just the meeting, we're just meeting, the idea of people meeting is already creating like fear in people, like it can't happen. So yeah.
Well, it's clearly possible.
It's clearly possible.
So I want to ask, so outside of those, activities on the ground.
No, but wait, what happened to the community now? The network now? Like, what, the situation didn't affect anything? Are you...
Interesting, because like, of course it affects every human, whatever is going on, whatever we see, whatever we experience, it has an effect. And this is like the effect of fear and effect of trauma. And when this happens, there need to be healing. And this is where we put our focus. Like few people in the community like took it very hard, more than others, but we will hold each other. Whoever could hold more was holding the other and just reminding each other that, yes, it is hard, but I'm gonna remind you, let's meet. And we met after the 7th of October, like now 3 times, like in events that we created. And we had a grieving ceremony, and we cried together, and we know it's hard to meet, and we know, and it's not comfortable, but we want to push through this separating energy. Like this is like creating so much separation. We want to like push against it. Like no, to meet hearts. Like this is creating that the hearts are far away, but let's remember. Like let's go closer again.
And are you actually able to hold that space for both?
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like the effort of everyone. It's It's when alone, it's impossible. You can't hold the grief alone. But when there's like 130 people with you and tell you, please go cry, I hold you. So it's different.
So now I'd like to switch from your spiritual journey to your more activism, maybe environmental journey. And you also said before that it was connected. So can you tell us a little bit about those alignment of stars and the continuation of that spiritual Palestinian journey?
Yeah. So as I said, the stars aligned, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to the Arava, which is an institute that deals with environmental topics. It's like environmental studies. But there is an aspect of dialogue there, an aspect of like acknowledging that there is a connection between environment and politics. And I heard it also from my network, from the people that they went there and they said, listen, like if you want some time like to figure things out, I think there is a good space that you can find yourself and like to ask questions and just like go. And I trusted and I went, and for me it was really like amazed. I was very amazed that suddenly all the things that I care about and talk and I do, actually they are kind of studied, and there are professors and doctors that have like talk about it in class, and they want me to write about it and to research about it. And I was like, whoa, it's not only like things that like, no, it's actually something محترم, like yeah, because growing up in Tira, it's like dentist and engineer, lawyer, like all these things are like respected, but other
all the
things
topics
like
that have a title.
yes,
you know,
have
like
a
we
title.
love titles.
Yeah. And then I saw my lectures, and they were like amazing. It just blew my mind, like how deep, how smart, how important these things are. Like it's about our lives and like our reality and the surroundings, and like there is science in it.
There's a sense in our community that the political or the international relations, that it's all very philosophical and theoretical, and it's not tangible.
Yeah,
right?
Because
And
it doesn't bring money. That's why. No, really, it doesn't bring money, because like when I wanted to look at what I wanted to study, when I was like, what are you going to end up at the end? What's your job going to be? And there's no understanding of a job of what a scientist is or what a researcher is. There is no understanding, because we didn't have those jobs. We were very much like handy people. Like we like working with our hands. We like things that also bring money because it's important.
and titles.
Yeah.
Like when
There's
I
no title of like I don't know, someone who works in international relations or the diplomacy as such, unless you reach very high levels. But there's that concept of this world is just hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's very philosophical.
You're gonna end up a teacher.
Yeah, but there is also this aspect of survival, because like in this country, like it's only specific jobs where you can survive and like have a job where you are respected, and like you have your dignity. And so this it's not a coincidence that like doctor, lawyer, engineer, like these specific things are also like very مطلوب, like
in demand.
Yeah, because like my father, he cared about me having my own clinic, not working under someone who's gonna be racist to me or like not respect me, so I will have my own thing and be successful and fulfill my dreams. So this is how like it came from care, but not knowing that he's like putting me in a specific box that I don't fit in. And so when I went there and I discovered, and wow, like I can actually like write about these things, and it took me a year to really like acknowledge that, okay, I'm now confident in talking and speaking and saying like this deserves my energy, this deserves to be heard, this deserves to be researched. But for a long time I felt a lot of guilt, like I'm wasting my time, I need to do something else, and no support around me. Like it was very hard. It's not like supported. If I wanted to open a clinic, I will have all the support, but like to work on these things, I didn't have. And then after, like you said, like how is it like from this to practical and scientific stuff? So in my third semester, I joined the environmental diplomacy department as an intern. And I chose this department because there is like the track 2, they call it, like program that they're doing on the ground activities. Like, okay, we have the part where it's like science and they are researching, but there is also a part that are practical, like what we do with this research. And they have partners in Gaza and the West Bank, and they're actually connecting water and electricity and things, and like on the ground. And I was like, okay, I want to join them and I want to do something. And then my supervisor told me, okay, your internship is going to be about a report that you're going to write about the environmental impacts in the war in Gaza. And this report, we're gonna use it to support our initiative in Gaza to bring sustainable technology to help the people there with basic needs like water and electricity and food and shelter. And I was like, okay, it's I'm gonna do it. It's like, yes, for a practical reason. And I spent a few months every day reading, researching. It was very hard. Every day waking up and like finding like the energy to choose to read about it and write about it. But I had the amazing support in the Arava Institute. Like the campus itself is like contains people from the West Bank, from Israel, and internationals, and they really supported me every day to listen to me to emotionally, really, and this really helped me to continue do it. And yeah,
we interrupt this episode to express our heartfelt gratitude to our supporters and our Patreon members. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are today. So this is a reminder that if you join our Patreon community, you will have access to exclusive content and you will be the first to know when we have something going on in your city. So that is your reminder to join the Patreon, and you can do it with the link in our description. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it a lot.
So tell us a little bit more about the research itself. What are the findings that you had? What did you research specifically, and what illuminations you had coming out of it? What things that you discovered, realized, shed light on?
First of all, like personally, as Miriam, I knew some things before, like what is happening in Gaza. But it also, like, the most significant thing for me was that I realized that it's closer than I think it is. Like, there is something about when you hear from stories from family or see it on the news or on the screen, it's somehow somewhere that is like in the mind very, very far away. And then when you look at it from the environmental aspect, you see that it's like, listen, no, this like one area, one planet, everything is connected. And then you see how close it is and how like it's not only there, it's like everywhere. And like this was for me the most significant thing. Like, just to understand it's just here, like it's here, it's not far away. And yeah, like I can go into specifics, like how, for example, we share an aquifer, like underneath the ground, that is like extended from Sinai until like north from Israel, one body of water under the ground. It doesn't see walls, it doesn't see anything, it's just fluid. So whatever cause inside, from sewage, contamination, pesticides, chemicals, anything that is going in is going everywhere. It's not only underneath, there are no walls under the ground. And for example, and another thing is like Wadi Gaza. It's like a river. It's like water stream. Water is moving. Water doesn't know boundaries. So it's moving and it's carrying things with it. So anything that got destroyed and released into the environment, which like bombings do, it's like materials that buildings are built from. They are like pulverized, and they are like in the environment. They're not going anywhere. They're not disappearing. They're going somewhere. Yeah. So they are going to the soil, into the water, into the air. People are breathing it. No matter who is there, he's gonna breathe it. It's one air. Air also doesn't know boundaries. So it's everything is in the environment, and it's affecting everything living. Humans, animals, plants, everything. It's just going somewhere. And this was really like the point of like showing how much it is connected, how much is not going anywhere, and we need to think about the environment too. And it's also a mirror, like the environment. I really like Mother Earth is like for me a mirror of how we are doing as humanity. Like if I see it's not doing well, that means like we are not doing well. And it's like the connection between war and environment is very close. like how we treat each other is affected in the environment, and how we treat the environment is affected on us. So it's like very tight and fascinating to see. And it's actually like shows how we are all one, like humans and planets and everything. So yeah.
It's like I really found it important. Your entire story and spiritual journey, I felt was important for our listeners to hear. But also, we keep on saying that there's a humanitarian crisis. We keep on using this word, humanitarian crisis and environmental crisis. And at some point, it loses, like, what does it mean? It loses, like, okay, there's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. People are dying. It's war. And then people don't really understand what that means to the people that are living there inside of the Gaza envelope, and how you said that the environment does, like, you can't, there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
You can't set a wall if there's like airborne diseases. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
And water is the same thing, even if it's like there's underneath. So like you were saying, so I felt like it was really important.
Yeah.
And also there's the situation of what the, like when you say that there's a current humanitarian crisis in Gaza right now, it makes you feel like the situation in Gaza was all handy before. So your report also included things like the health situation there and the electricity situation there, and how much clean water and access to clean water Gaza had before the war and currently now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. Can elaborate. Like in the report, it was important to show because we wanted to showcase the impacts. So you need to first say what was the situation before, so you can somehow feel what the impact is. And the situation before, like many people don't know it, but it was not good. Like it was. Like people didn't have water all the time, like few hours a day. Electricity, 11 in a good day without conflict, and it can go to 4 or 5 hours a day of electricity. 50% of the people are living on humanitarian aid, like living on a daily basis. So like before the war, yes. So also understanding like the siege situation and like the border and the buffer zone and how much people can fish, and it's only few meters inside that, like all of this like needed first to be clear before we talk about the impact. Because as I said, to measure that you need to understand. And also in a personal level, I wanted people to open up their eyes and see that like there is a before the war, and it's also important. It's not only happened on this day and khalas. Like there is a history, there is like something.
It's an escalation of something that was already existing.
Exactly.
And just now getting like terminal.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned like what is it, crisis, and what does it mean? It means like few 10 years of rehabilitation of this place, because these effects are not only for now and that's it. Like diseases can be spread, animals, humans, movement, anything, water even, because many bacteria are like in the water, and the sewage and all the contamination is like released into the Mediterranean Sea. And there is from Gaza this stream from south to north, and we have also evidence like when sewage is dumped into the Mediterranean, you like see beaches in Ashkelon that are closed.
It's already reaching Ashkelon, from what I understand.
Exactly. So before the war. So now when all the water plants and all of this system is broken, where is the sewage going? It's all going into the soil and into the ground and into the water, and all of it is going upstream. And will affect. So if there is like a pandemic or like a disease, it will also travel through Mediterranean to other places. So this is important.
Because they swim in the water, like they shower sometimes in the water because there's nowhere to shower.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever you do, it's going to get there. And the depressing part is that it's not something that you can fix or cure in like a few months or even a few years. I remember in your report, it was like a few decades until not just the infrastructure, but like the actual environment of what the Gaza envelope is, and how we're going to like fix it, not just for Gaza, but for
the planet.
For the planet and for like the people that live, like even if Israel said, I don't care, I don't give a shit about Gaza, you have to, because it's not about you caring about Gazans and Palestinians, it's about you caring about your own citizens also. So
I think it's that realization that the contamination happened way before the war. I think it's people need to like have a specific understanding of that this is not just because there is a war, there is contamination, and if we end the war, there is no contamination. No, that there has always been contamination while under the siege in Gaza, and now it's becoming, up to a very dangerous place that it's spreading even more than it was before. But it doesn't mean that when the war is over one day, that means that the water will just go back into being clean. It takes so much time to also clean the water system. It's not like you said, it's not like we're just erecting a few buildings and that's it. That's the reconstruction of Gaza. There's so much beyond that will take decades to fix. And like you said, it's even if you're not doing it for the other side, quote unquote, it's affecting your own people, whether you like it or not. It's affecting you. And there's a blindness to that element, I feel always. And when we talk about the conflict, when we talk about wars, there's a blindness to that element of war, of the environmental aspect that affects you, not only the other. That is difficult to, maybe to keep morale. I don't know, to keep morale, to, continue the war, to not have things to the population to think about the negative aspects, only think about what's positive for them, and that's not what's negative, even though it's like actually crucial. Like people should know that they're going to pay these prices, that there are also ecological prices that they're paying. But it's not the case.
It's like with the entire world. It's like having a disease in, I don't know, a leg, and thinking that it's the leg's the problem. If you get rid of the leg, and if you get rid of the leg, then your entire body is going to be fine. And it's just a leg problem, but it's the entire body. And even if you cut that leg off, and then the rest of your body is fine, your body will never be the same again.
Tell me about it.
Is there, throughout your research, is there anything that people can do? I know that the organizations that are partnering with the Arava are also Sunbox, which are also friends of ours that will hopefully join this podcast as well. Al-Masharawi family that are from Gaza that do solar panels that they used to accommodate houses with and buildings with, and now are making sure that they can accommodate tents with these solar panels, so they can like charge phones, charge maybe like
small light bulbs.
Yeah, small light bulbs, something maybe
what's it called, like
refrigerator?
Not refrigerator, fans.
Yeah. And maybe heaters during winter. So what can maybe our listeners do? Is there anything that they can do?
I would say to the listeners that first, like, to speak more about it. Like, awareness is very important, and to say also that, like, trying to solve a conflict through war, it's not sustainable. It's not good, not for humans, not for the planet, not for the environment, and the planet cannot sustain wars anymore. And we need to think about different ways to solve things, because like it's not good for us as humanity to keep doing it, because like reflecting to us from all sides. Also, environment is reflecting to us that it's not okay. And second, I will educate myself more, read more about it, like talk about it, read more about it. And also I would say, like, the initiative that the Arava Institute doing with Damour organization, they are like sending technologies that are tested and like developed in the Arava Institute that are off-grid, decentralized, no need for system, because as we said, it takes decades until to rebuild or like do anything there, but people are there and living, and they need water and electricity and things. So these systems are like a bridge to get like they get gap the bridge
Bridge the gap.
bridge the gap between like until it's totally fixed and everything is perfect to now being in a tent and like having sewage everywhere and no water and like very like contaminated environment. So in between there needs to be something to gap. And these systems are allowing that. It's like all self-working, like through energy from the sun, you desalinate water, and you can use it for cooking, for plants, for drinking, and like all of it is like one system, and it's like more caravan than tents. So it's like isolating to heat and cold, and like until like a different solution will be there. But people need that at the moment. Like we are not focused more on the moment. And also it's very good to see how this technology can also benefit the whole planet, because there is a problem in the whole planet that like if the system doesn't work, everyone is affected. And like being more self-sufficient and more decentralized, it empowers people, and it's like not so sensitive from the surrounding, because as we know, climate change and all of these things, so we need different solutions. So it's also for the whole planet to learn from these systems and like to explore it, and also to put resources in it. Like this is a thing that it's interesting for me that it doesn't get as much resources donate, invest and put, because it's not only investing for Gaza, it's like really investing for a future that we want to somehow explore and understand how we're gonna solve bigger problems in the world.
So we're nearing our end. It was very pleasant to have you. Very happy that we made this possible, even through a very tough period. Is there anything, final words? Do you have a question, Ibrahim?
Any, final thoughts that you would want to leave our audience with?
A spiritual message.
Lift our spirits.
I want to say and acknowledge like all the support I got from the amazing people around me, and that nothing like would have been done without it. And I feel that like together we are carrying this kind of spirit or this message, and like helping each other do it and reminding each other. So I first want to say that you are not alone, and if you seek it, you will find it. And if you start to question and start to like enlighten yourself to just to have answers, you will find them, and you will find the right people on your path to support you and be with you. And so I'm very grateful for that. And thank you also for this space for me also to speak and process. Like I feel like putting everything together, it's like me processing what happened the last few years. And we're here. I can't do anything else. Like there is a saying that I heard that like you keep planting seeds even though maybe you will not sit under the tree's shade, but I can't not plant trees, because I know planting trees will get trees.
So to all our listeners, we're happy that we're ending it on that note. We're going to link the report that both Miriam and her colleague Elaine worked on and presented with the Arava Institute. So you can go in. There's a lot of details and depth of the situation in Gaza pre the war and currently in the past 10-ish months. So there's that, and continue to plant seeds the same way that Miriam, Ibrahim, and I are planting seeds. And I feel like this community is always here for you. And we end with our sign off saying that everyone, from the river to the sea, the river, the sea, and the entire environment, we all deserve better.